Hello friends, this is Vishnu here. Welcome back to my channel Tips, Tricks and Concepts by Vishnu. So in this video, I'm going to explain an important question to you. That is a bit easy question, but at the same time confusing question. That is, arrange the following bonds in the order of their increasing bond lengths. Okay, bond lengths. So this question has been asked by one of my students, and I'm sharing that question for you and also the explanation. So without wasting any more time, let's roll to the topic. So children, let's go to the question. The correct order of increasing bond length of CH, CO, CC and C double bond C is. Okay. So of course, as I have told, this is a very easy question, and but what I see often is that children just by heart these answers. Okay, but that is very dangerous, because if some other bonds comes, or if some other atoms come, or if you get confused or if you get tense during the exams, then you will make it wrong. So you have to consider three important points, okay, the concepts behind answering such questions. Okay, so the concept is very easy. So as usual, it is tips, tricks and concepts by Vishnu, and so let's go to the answer very easily. Okay, so here in these type of questions, we have to consider three important points. Okay, that is the factors affecting the bond length. Okay, there are many important factors, but in most of the questions we have to consider just three main factors. Okay, but without these three factors, you must never answer the questions. Okay, so firstly, the size of atoms. Okay, the size of the atoms and the difference between the size of the atoms, and then electronegativity difference between these atoms, and then the number of bonds involved. Okay, so the third word almost all of you know, that is single bond, double bond and triple bonds. Of course, as the number of bonds increases, the bonds becomes very strong, and hence the bond length decreases. So triple bond is very stronger, and hence it will be smaller than the double bond, which will in turn be smaller than the single bond, with certain exceptions. Okay, but just remember that of course, as the number of bonds increases, the bond length decreases. Okay, so that is very important point. And now let's come to the first point, that is size of atoms. So as the size of atoms increases, okay, as you can see, these are two important larger atoms, and these two are small atoms. Okay, so as the size of atoms are increasing, the distance between them are also increasing, so bond length increases. Okay, just common sense. Now next one, the electronegativity difference between the atoms. Okay, as this electronegativity difference increases, the bond length decreases. Why? Because as there is more electronegativity difference, okay, then the bond becomes very strong, and hence the bond length decreases. Okay, so these three are the important points. Now let's go to the answers. Okay, that is, of course, what every one of you will first write is C single bond C will be larger than C double bond C, right? C double bond C, okay, will be smaller, and C single bond C will be larger. Okay, of course, some other bonds can come in between them, but this is the general trend, right? Okay, so this is the first step that every one of you writes. Okay, so now let's insert the other one. Okay, the other hydrogen and oxygen also in the group. Okay, so for that, let's consider the sizes, okay, in a particular order. Okay, so this is the size of hydrogen atom, this is the size of carbon atom, which is very large as compared to hydrogen, and this is the size of oxygen, which is somewhere between hydrogen and carbon. Okay, right? Why? Because if you consider the periodic table, oxygen is after carbon atom, and as we go along the period, okay, the size of the atom decreases. Okay, so this oxygen will be smaller than carbon. Okay. Now let's consider the next point, that is electronegativity difference. Of course, all of you know that oxygen is very much electronegative, and C is relatively less, and hydrogen is even less. Okay, but considering all these points, okay, the size of atoms and electronegativity difference, okay, we can see that CH bond will be the smallest. Why? Because hydrogen bond is a very small atom. Okay, so definitely it will be smaller, and there is also considerable electronegativity difference between carbon and hydrogen. Okay, so CH will be the smallest. Now we have to consider, okay, CO. Okay, CO, what will be the bond length of CO as compared to CC? Okay, we can see that oxygen is relatively smaller. Okay, oxygen is relatively smaller in size, and also its electronegativity is also high, right? So naturally what happens, okay, CO bond will be smaller than C single bond C bond. Now what will be its comparison with C double bond C? Okay, of course, there is no electronegativity difference between carbon and carbon, but we can see that there is a double bond, and as the number of bonds increases, always remember the third point, that is, it will be smaller than the single bond. Okay, double bond will be smaller than the single bond, and hence the order will be in such a way that Okay, single bond C will be the largest and C single bond CH will be the smallest. Of course, there is only one option here. We can directly go to the answer. But if we have to be more proper or we have to be more precise, just check between the other things. Okay, we can see that C double bond C. Of course, the number of double bonds is higher, and so it is smaller than CO. And CO is larger than C double bond C and CH, and also is lesser than C single bond C. Okay, so option B is the answer. Okay, so consider these three important points very carefully: size of atoms, electronegativity difference, and the number of bonds. Okay, very carefully. So that's all. And for any queries, please message me or just ask me in the comments to do any questions, and we'll be posting more videos very soon. Okay. So for more such questions, we can do more different questions like this in our channel. And so for that, please subscribe to my channel. Have a positive mind, positive vibes, positive life, and keep smiling, live happy.